In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 college football games happening on November 1st, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Army versus Air Force. The Army Black Knights will meet the Air Force Falcons in Week 10 college football play at Falcon Stadium on Saturday. The Army Black Knights have been improving in recent weeks. They have won 2 of their last 3 contests, with their only setback coming against a strong Tulane team. Their recent form includes solid road victories against Kansas State and UAB. On the other side, the Air Force Falcons continue to show flashes on offense but have struggled on defense, which has cost them several games. They have dropped 5 of their last 6 matchups, showing how their defensive issues have undermined their offensive progress. Army's approach centers on its triple option offense, which forms the core of its game plan. The team is averaging an impressive 275 rushing yards per game, ranking 5th in the country. This run-heavy strategy is especially relevant in this contest, given the Falcons' struggles against the ground attack. Air Force is allowing roughly 177 rushing yards per game, placing them 105th nationally in rush defense. The Falcons also favor running the football on most plays, yet their ground game efficiency is not enough to compensate for their defensive lapses. Army's rush defense has been notably stronger, conceding only 141 yards per game. This creates a key contrast between two teams that both rely heavily on the run, but differ in how well they defend it. The side analysis shows that both teams will aim to control the clock and tempo through the ground game. The more disciplined and effective rush defense should ultimately determine the result. As our first pick for this matchup, the Army Black Knights money line is our full game side pick. The Air Force defense has been a persistent weakness this season. They have allowed over 40 points in 4 of their last 6 outings and sit near the bottom nationally in many defensive categories. Over the past 5 games, the Falcons have given up an average of 40 points, underscoring their inability to limit opponents. Army's offense, as mentioned earlier, operates primarily through its rushing attack, which could find consistent openings against this weak defensive front. Both programs favor the run-through versions of the triple option offense, yet neither side wastes time between plays. Army ranks 26th nationally in total plays per game, while Air Force ranks 39th. These quick-paced, run-focused drives create more opportunities for scoring despite their ground-heavy tendencies. The Falcons have also leaned into pushing the pace whenever possible. Army, while preferring a measured rhythm, has shown it can adjust and strike quickly when needed, as seen when it went for it on 4th down 4 times in its most recent game. Historical patterns in Service Academy matchups often suggest taking the under, yet modern option offenses now feature more balance and flexibility, often including passing elements that keep defenses off balance. Recent evidence supports this trend, with Air Force and Navy combining for 65 points in their recent meeting, hinting at a higher scoring environment than tradition might predict. Watching Air Force compete this season often feels like watching a track meet. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Penn State versus Ohio State. What once looked like a potential game of the year has lost much of its luster. Penn State travels to Columbus this Saturday to take on Ohio State in the midst of a 4-game losing streak that has reshaped its season. Earlier in the year, when James Franklin was still coaching and quarterback Drew Aller was healthy, the Buckeyes were slight favorites by 3.5 points on the early lines. Much has changed since then. Penn State dropped consecutive games as 3-touchdown favorites and, in the process, lost both its head coach and starting quarterback. The Nittany Lions are now simply fighting for bowl eligibility rather than playoff contention. To reach a bowl, they need to win 3 of their final 5 games. Given that 2 of those games are against the number 1 Ohio State and number 2 Indiana, that task will not come easily. The line movement reflects a massive change in perception, and while statistical models might indicate value on Penn State at this inflated number, the situation extends beyond pure analytics. The emotional fallout from losing 4 straight, along with key leadership and personnel, is difficult to measure. On paper, the Nittany Lions still possess enough talent to challenge the Buckeyes, but recent performances tell another story. They have failed to produce over 300 total yards in back-to-back outings against Northwestern and Iowa. Now they must face one of the best defenses in the nation, a unit that has allowed more than 10 points only once all season, and just 12 total first-half points through 7 contests. Defensively, Penn State retains players with NFL-level ability, but motivation appears in question. This could be a moment for the team to treat as its Super Bowl, yet current defensive trends do not inspire confidence. Since Week 5, Penn State ranks 79th nationally in both predicted points added per play and points allowed per quality drive. Their struggles extend to standard downs and run defense, where they sit 100th and 128th respectively in PPA metrics. The lack of disruption compounds these issues, as they are 135th in havoc generated since late September, second to last in the country. They have forced only 2 turnovers since facing Oregon, 1 fumble recovery against Northwestern, and a tipped interception against Iowa that graded as a non-turnover-worthy play. Across the field, Ohio State's young quarterback Julian Sayin continues to rise into prominence, and he now faces a defense that has failed to generate pressure or turnovers. Numbers might favor Penn State from a pure line standpoint, but form, motivation, and execution point elsewhere. Moreover, Penn State's offense has sputtered against far lesser defenses, and the task now only grows harder. Ohio State has covered 9 times, pushed once, and failed once as a home favorite of at least 20 points in conference play since 2021. Over the past 3 years, that record stands at 4-1 against the spread. Penn State's talent base remains solid, yet with a backup quarterback and an interim coaching staff, the challenge becomes steep. Ohio State's defense ranks among the nation's elite, and Penn State has not shown an ability to sustain drives against weaker competition. The Buckeyes have covered 8 times, pushed 3 times, and failed once as a double-digit favorite in their last 12 such games. In 5 double-digit favorite roles this season, they have won by an average margin of 37.4 points. Trends and matchups both suggest that this contest could turn one-sided quickly. As our first pick for this matchup, the Ohio State Buckeyes to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Projecting totals in the mid-40s for Ohio State games can be difficult. The Buckeyes' defense remains dominant, allowing only one opponent to score more than 10 points this season. Yet, their offense possesses the capability to surpass 40 points on its own when rhythm and tempo align. Penn State's offense, by contrast, has regressed in recent weeks, hindered by injuries and inconsistency. In the 4 games since Week 5, they have crossed the opponent's 40-yard line only 18 times outside of garbage time, ranking 113th nationally alongside programs like Kentucky, Syracuse, and Middle Tennessee. That output translates to roughly 1 legitimate scoring opportunity per quarter against opponents such as UCLA, Northwestern, and Iowa. Ohio State's defense, meanwhile, has allowed just 11 non-garbage time drives past its own 40-yard line in that same stretch, tying for second best nationally behind Toledo. Even when opponents reach scoring range, they rarely capitalize, averaging only 2.36 points per quality drive since late September. Red zone efficiency against this unit is equally bleak, as the Buckeyes have yielded just 2 touchdowns on 12 opponent possessions inside the 20-yard line. Penn State has seen the overhit in 5 of 7 games this season, largely due to earlier offensive production when Allar was under center. They exceeded 34 points in 4 games, but that offense no longer resembles its early season version. Ohio State, by comparison, has gone under the total in 5 of 7 contests, powered by a defense that dictates tempo and suppresses scoring. The Buckeyes' balanced attack should allow them to establish control early, then manage possession and the clock. Penn State's offense faces a difficult path to even modest success. Another opponent failing to reach double digits against this defense seems realistic. This matchup carries the feel of a 31-6 outcome. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Texas versus Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt Commodores carried their storybook season forward with a hard-fought 17-10 win at Missouri last week. Despite being outgained by the Tigers and converting only 3 of 10 third downs, Vanderbilt found a way to close it out. Now sitting at 7-1, the Commodores will travel for the first time in nearly a month to face the Texas Longhorns. It is a revenge opportunity after Vanderbilt came close to upsetting Texas in Nashville last year as 17-point underdogs. This matchup marks the 4th straight ranked contest for Vanderbilt, a rare stretch of meaningful games for a program that has long been starved for such relevance. Across the field, Texas stayed alive in dramatic fashion with a 17-point second-half comeback win at Mississippi State, a game that went to overtime. The result kept the Longhorns' postseason hopes intact, though their quarterback situation remains uncertain. Arch Manning entered concussion protocol after a hit in that game. Coach Steve Sarkisian said he practiced on Wednesday, but it was a light session since he has not yet been fully cleared. It is possible for a quarterback to return from concussion protocol in under a week, as South Carolina's Lenoris Sellers did earlier this season after his injury against this same Vanderbilt team. Texas safety Michael Toff, who missed the Mississippi State game, also practiced Wednesday and has taken part in 2 sessions this week. His return seems likely, and given the stakes for Texas, both he and Manning could be available. The Longhorns face must-win pressure each week from here on out. I have backed Vanderbilt in recent weeks and searched for reasons to change course, but few appear convincing. Arch Manning's potential return would give Texas a clear boost on offense, but this team has not played to its reputation. The Longhorns barely slipped past Kentucky and Mississippi State on the road, fell at Florida, and managed just 27 points against UTEP at home. They rank 70th in yards per play for the season and sit at 125th in points scored per quality drive over the last 5 weeks. Their running game has struggled too. Texas gained only 72 rushing yards and averaged 2.3 yards per carry against Mississippi State, following just 47 yards and 1.7 yards per carry at Kentucky. Over the last 5 weeks, the Longhorns rank 105th in predicted points added per rush and 125th in standard downs predicted points added. That will not be enough against a Vanderbilt team that can control possession with an effective ground attack. Texas will get credit for being at home and fielding one of the better defenses in the nation, yet the measurable edge in value lies elsewhere. As our first pick for this matchup, the Vanderbilt Commodores to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Vanderbilt's early season games outside the conference featured high scores, but every Southeastern Conference matchup since, except for the LSU game, has finished under the total. The Commodores failed to reach 20 points in 2 of their last 3, reflecting the tougher defenses they now face and their deliberate offensive rhythm. They rank 131st in seconds per play against Football Bowl subdivision opponents, emphasizing patience over pace. Texas has been even less efficient offensively. The Longhorns' recent ground production has dropped off sharply, landing them outside the top 100 in national metrics. When they move the ball into scoring range, they often settle for field goals, averaging only 2.6 points per trip inside the opposing 40-yard line. Both teams use balanced approaches and are coming off physical, low-scoring battles. Vanderbilt's defense has held opponents to 10 points or fewer in 2 of its last 3 contests, while Texas has given up fewer than 24 points in 3 of its previous 4 home games. Each team plays disciplined red zone defense, and the possible absence or limited status of the Texas quarterback adds more uncertainty to the offensive outlook. These factors suggest a slower, grinded-out affair rather than a shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Miami versus SMU. The Miami Hurricanes and the SMU Mustangs will face off Saturday in college football action at Gerald J. Ford Stadium. Miami has shown cracks in its armor. The Hurricanes were stunned by Louisville after tossing 4 interceptions in a costly loss as 13-point home favorites. Now they must regroup for another test against a determined SMU team that is far more dangerous than it appears on paper. At first glance, this looks like a chance for Miami to dominate again, especially after scoring 42 unanswered points against Stanford last week. Still, this matchup carries more risk than the casual observer might notice. SMU's setback against Wake Forest may have dimmed its national profile, but the Mustangs remain capable, confident, and well coached. This SMU team still has pride. They rolled through much of last season, proving they could go toe-to-toe with stronger competition, and now they aim to show that success was not fleeting. Playing at home in Dallas, the Mustangs will have a charged atmosphere behind them, and they will be eager to rise to the occasion under the lights. Miami's offense remains remains explosive, with big playability at every level. The challenge has been consistency. Quarterback Carson Beck has continued to show flashes of brilliance, but turnovers have plagued this team in key moments. When he is sharp, Miami looks like a top-tier program. When he is careless with the football, the offense stalls. The Hurricanes remain the more talented roster, yet recent form raises questions. They fell to Louisville and allowed Stanford to linger for 2 full quarters before pulling away. Over their last 10 games as a double-digit favorite, Miami holds a record of 4-6 against the spread and has lost outright twice in that role since last November. SMU, on the other hand, features a competent passing game and a defense that limits the run while preventing opponents from finishing drives. The Mustangs have not entered a matchup as double-digit underdogs in more than 2 years, a sign that the oddsmakers are showing considerable respect to Miami's brand rather than its current form. SMU is not chasing playoff dreams at this point, but pride remains a powerful motivator. A win would secure bowl eligibility, and that incentive adds a clear edge in effort. This could look similar to Miami's contest with Louisville, where a talented underdog refused to back down. SMU may not mirror last season's dominant version, but it is still a capable and composed team. The Mustangs' balance and veteran presence suggest this game will remain competitive from start to finish. Laying close to 2 touchdowns against a disciplined, motivated opponent carries real risk. Miami might win outright, but the number leaves generous room for SMU to stay within range. As our first pick for this matchup, the SMU Mustangs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams bring strong offensive production, each averaging over 30 points per game. With that much firepower, this matchup could turn into a track meet. The total of 51 seems modest given the tempo and ability of both sides to score in bunches. Miami's defense has drawn praise as elite, but that label deserves a closer look. Much of its statistical strength comes from early season games against softer opponents such as Bethune-Cookman, USF, Florida, and Stanford, who were all held to single digits. Even the 12 points given up to the Bulls offered little insight into how this defense performs against elite competition. When tested by teams with offensive balance, like Notre Dame and Florida State, Miami yielded 21 points or more, scraping out wins by a combined 9 points. SMU's offensive makeup resembles those same teams. The Mustangs run the ball with purpose, and their balanced attack keeps defenses off guard. It is unlikely that Miami will be able to suffocate this offense the way it did lesser opponents. At the same time, the Hurricanes should move the ball effectively against an SMU defense ranked 112th in total defense. That weakness opens the door for both teams to trade scores throughout the afternoon. The pace, combined with each team's big play capability, sets the stage for quick drives and limited defensive resistance. This has the feel of a wide-open contest, where points come early and often. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Louisville versus Virginia Tech. The Louisville Cardinals and the Virginia Tech Hokies meet in Week 10 college football action at Lane Stadium on Saturday. Blacksburg is never an easy place to play, but the issue for Virginia Tech remains its inconsistency on offense. The Hokies showed flashes of life in their win over Cal, yet sustaining that level against a more complete Louisville team will be difficult. The Cardinals have shown balance and poise throughout the season, handling pressure situations with control. Their offense operates with rhythm and purpose, while Virginia Tech has often struggled to move the ball consistently against disciplined defenses. Louisville holds the edge in both efficiency and depth, giving them a clear advantage as this matchup unfolds. As our first pick for this matchup, the Louisville Cardinals to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Louisville's ground game has been a major strength, most recently amassing over 300 rushing yards against Boston College. That kind of production on the ground keeps the chains moving and limits the total number of possessions for both teams. The Cardinals' offensive line has created space all season, helping them control the tempo and wear down opposing defenses. Virginia Tech, meanwhile, leans heavily on quarterback Kyron Drones and its running backs to generate offense. When the Hokies' rushing attack finds momentum, they can control the pace of play, but finishing drives has been a challenge. Turnovers and stalled red zone possessions have prevented them from capitalizing on scoring opportunities. The result is an offense that looks strong in spurts but lacks sustained execution against higher-level opponents. Both teams have shown they can move the ball when conditions favor their styles. Still, history points toward a lower-scoring affair. The last meeting between these two programs in 2023 produced a combined total of just 36 27 points. This year, Louisville's defense has continued to limit production, holding opponents to fewer than 300 yards per game. The Cardinals play disciplined, assignment-sound football and force opponents into third and long situations that stall drives. For Louisville, the under has hit in 5 of their last 10 games overall. They have allowed 27 points or fewer in 6 of their 7 contests this season, showing remarkable consistency. Virginia Tech's track record is similar, with the under also landing in 5 of their last 10 games. Against ranked opponents this season, the Hokies have managed just 31 total points in 2 matchups, highlighting their offensive limitations against top competition. Both defenses are capable of creating turnovers, and both offenses rely on methodical drives built around the running game. Those traits tend to shorten games and limit scoring bursts. Given the styles and recent performances of both programs, this contest shapes up to be more of a physical battle at the line of scrimmage than a wide-open shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.